Loss is a deeply significant concept in Buddhism, and the teachings of the Buddha provide timeless wisdom on how to approach and transcend it. In Buddhist philosophy, loss is not something to be feared, but rather embraced as part of the natural cycle of life. One of the key teachings in Buddhism is the understanding that everything is impermanent, anicca, and this impermanence leads to inevitable experiences of loss. The Satipatthana Sutta teaches mindfulness, where the Buddha urges practitioners to develop awareness of the body, feelings, mind, and mental phenomena. By becoming mindful of the impermanent nature of all things, we can accept loss with greater ease. One of the most profound texts on this subject is the Diamond Sutra, which emphasizes the idea that attachment is the root of suffering. When we cling to things, whether they are people, objects, or experiences, we set ourselves up for suffering when we eventually lose them. The sutra teaches that by reducing attachment and recognizing the fleeting nature of all things, we can cultivate inner peace even in the face of great loss. For example, the Buddha himself faced the loss of his family and kingdom when he renounced the world, yet he saw this loss as essential to his spiritual awakening. In the Pali Canon, the Buddha explicitly addresses the realities of old age, sickness, and death. These are universal forms of loss that every living being must face. The Anattalakkhana Sutta, Discourse on Non-Self, underscores that not only are all external things impermanent, but even our bodies, thoughts, and feelings are not truly ours. We cannot possess them permanently, so when we experience loss, we are simply witnessing the natural flow of impermanence in action. The Buddha's insight into non-self, anatta, reminds us that clinging to anything as mine is an illusion, and understanding this can lessen the pain of loss. Loss is also connected to the concept of dukkha, or suffering, which is one of the four noble truths. The Buddha taught that all beings suffer due to their attachment to impermanent things. This suffering becomes most apparent when we lose someone or something dear to us. The Lankavatara Sutra, a Mahayana text, goes further to explain how our mental attachment creates the illusion of permanence, and when we lose something or someone, the mind experiences pain because it clings to what was never truly permanent. The sutra also teaches about shunyata, emptiness, a profound concept that asserts all phenomena are empty of intrinsic existence. Understanding this emptiness helps us see that loss is not something we should take personally, but rather a reflection of the transient nature of reality. The Heart Sutra provides a famous and often quoted teaching on emptiness. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. This line conveys the idea that the physical world, including the things we lose, has no lasting substance. The understanding of this truth can help soften the emotional impact of loss, because it reminds us that what we perceive as real and permanent is, in fact, fluid and changing. This wisdom helps us view the loss of loved ones or material possessions from a broader, less ego-centered perspective. The Dhammapada, a collection of the Buddha's teachings, also addresses the nature of loss and attachment. It says, "Suffering follows the clinging mind, like a cart follows the ox that pulls it." In other words, wherever there is attachment, there will be suffering, especially when we experience loss. By letting go of attachment, we free ourselves from the pain associated with loss. The Buddha's teachings encourage us to develop detachment, not as a form of indifference, but as a way to experience life and loss without the added burden of emotional suffering. Even the Buddha's personal life offers lessons in dealing with loss. After leaving his wife, child, and royal heritage, the Buddha embarked on his journey toward enlightenment. This renunciation was, in essence, a form of voluntary loss. His story illustrates that loss can serve as a doorway to spiritual growth, pushing us to question what is truly meaningful in life. It shows that even the greatest losses can lead to profound insights and personal transformation. Meditation practices are also central to coping with loss. The Anapanasati Sutta outlines a form of meditation focused on mindfulness of breathing, which helps calm the mind and develop concentration. By cultivating mindfulness, we can observe our emotions, including grief and sadness, without being overwhelmed by them. The practice of meditation allows us to experience loss without being consumed by it. Instead of reacting to loss with despair, we learn to observe it with a mind of equanimity, knowing that all things arise and pass away. The Lotus Sutra, another key text in Mahayana Buddhism, teaches the idea of transformation through loss. According to this sutra, loss is not only inevitable, but also a catalyst for personal growth and awakening. Just as a lotus grows from the mud, spiritual growth often arises from experiences of loss and difficulty. The sutra encourages us to see loss as an opportunity for change rather than a source of suffering. In summary, Buddhism views loss as an integral part of the human experience. By recognizing the impermanence of all things, we can begin to approach loss with acceptance and understanding. The Buddha's teachings offer practical methods, such as mindfulness, meditation, and reducing attachment, that help us cope with loss in a way that fosters inner peace and wisdom. Through these practices, loss becomes less of a source of suffering and more of an opportunity for spiritual growth. Whether it's through the Satipatthana Sutta, the Diamond Sutra, or the Heart Sutra, the Buddha's teachings remind us that loss is not the end, but part of the ongoing journey of life and spiritual discovery.